Your higher conscious is calling you to do more. Your higher conscious is telling you, stop listening to this person. Start pursuing what the fuck it is that you want to pursue. But you're stuck here because you're still seeking validation and acceptance from people that unfortunately might even be irrelevant down the line. My winning secret number four is learning how to love your own company, learning how to be alone. So many people operate from so many other people's belief systems, whether it be your parents, whether it be the culture you grew up in, the friends that you grew up around, and nobody really knows their true authentic self, right? For me, I grew up in a Christian home, right? A lot of Christianity had a lot to do with, my transition, my transformation. So I kind of rolled with that for a very long time, right? Growing up in the city of Hialeah in Miami, I grew up in a very violent, cutthroat Latin environment, right? So I grew up with that culture, with a lot of their belief systems, the way that they did business, the way that they had relationships. These are all character traits and just ways of operating from their standpoint that I adopted. And these are all things that I had to like really start letting go of slowly but surely. And until I got to a point where like, damn, hold on. This is not even the fuck who I am. That's when I really had to cut everything off and start to now think of why is it that I used to, think the way that these people think, move the way that these people move, right? Believe in the things that these people believed in. And it was simply because I believed from so I my belief system was molded by other people, right? You normally people are just naturally drawn to rolling in crowds. Until you learn to love your own company, until you learn to spend time with yourself, until you learn that on Friday nights I would rather stay home, learn something about myself, continue to try to master my craft, spend time alone before going out with friends. That's when you have that's when you have got into a place of really learning to accept and love yourself for who you are and tapping into your true highest authentic self. This is something that's very rare. Most people don't even do. Very first thing you want to do and very first thing you want to be conscious of is, do the people around you when they do things or they say things, does it like consciously does it call your attention to say, damn, you know what, I'm a little resistant towards that. I don't like the places they like to go. I don't like the people they like to be around. I don't like the drugs that they like to use. I don't like to drink how they like to drink. That's where you really want to start being conscious of the people around you and ask yourself like, damn, my mother is such a scarcity, mindset person. My brother, my sister, they're always telling me that I'm doing too much. Is that really is that really you being stuck in between trying to accept or be validated by other people, seeking acceptance of other people, and not having your own acceptance? Like, you have yet to accept yourself for who you are. Think about that. When you get to a place where you have now accepted yourself fully, to where you don't give a fuck what anybody thinks, either they accept you for who you are or they are going to be removed from the equation. That's when you have reached a very dangerous level of freedom, because you no longer operate from anybody else's belief systems but yours. And that goes for everything: politics, religion, the way that you have to work, the way that you have to handle relationship. My mindset around everything completely changed when I started to discover my true authentic self. Everything. I used to be a very old fashioned person when it came to relationships. I was a working guy. The wife or the girlfriend at home was the one that cooked, took care of the home, right? That completely changed. I would never ever try to limit or restrict my fiance from chasing her dreams because I expect her to stay home, pick up laundry, and cook food, right? And that was me really like learning my authentic self first and stopping and me just cutting off all former beliefs that I had of how life should be handled or how life should be lived, right? And then with the times, guess what? People, things, philosophies all evolve, even your own, even my own. So it's also very important you understand that as well. So learning to operate from your own belief system. Stop thinking that because this person did it or this person said it, or I just I don't want to let this person down. That's the worst thing you could do, because you're letting the most important person down, which is yourself. Because your conscious, your higher conscious is calling you to do more. Your higher conscious is telling you, stop listening to this person. Start pursuing what the fuck it is that you want to pursue, but you're stuck here because you're still seeking validation and acceptance from people that unfortunately might even be irrelevant down the line. It was a very, I wouldn't say hard, but it was a very uncomfortable transition when I made paradigm shifts, right? Because my way of operating was, I mean, come on, from a full blown former crime boss, convict, cheater, everything I did was illegal, to what I'm doing now. I have a healthy household. I operate a very successful business. I am a very rational and like community building person. I'm a pillar of my own community now. The transition was uncomfortable, but it was not hard, right? Because in the transition, I would say this right here, what I'm talking about in this video, was the most, and at least the the more solidified part of me that I had to really get over to make that transition, was operating from my own belief system, learning how to love myself, spend time with myself, not want to be out in the street, in the club, listening to music and just kind of, you know, like vibrating at a frequency of people who were essentially lower than me, right? In the most respectful way. And this is why it's very important for you to also get in rooms with people who are thinking higher than you, who are doing more than you. All right, because you will start to adopt some of their philosophies. You never want to come in second place to nobody. You don't ever want to admire or emulate somebody so much that you're like, oh, I want to be just like that person. Yes, there's going to be things that you take from how they operate their life and adopt it into your own life. But don't ever, ever settle for coming into second place behind nobody but yourself. But you got to learn to love your company first.